Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Power Rangers podcast, episode 4 of the Power Rangers podcast. Excuse me. I'm your host, Dr. Bennett, and we have my man from Disney Brain, JWR.
Hi, I'm Jade. This is JWR. Glad to be here. How are you doing, Dante?
I am fine. I am fine. So today we got some topics. We have we're gonna give our thoughts on the Dino Fury season 2 trailer. Then we'll do our fourth. We'll celebrate the 14th anniversary of Power Rangers Jungle Fury. By the way, congratulations. Also, we're gonna ask why Go Busters took so long to get an adaptation. And we'll talk about the Simon Bennett Twitter thread. And we'll celebrate the 30th anniversary of To See You Ranger. Yeah, we're celebrating a lot of anniversaries today. And then we have the
Yep,
16th anniversary of Mystic Force. So
a lot
let's
to
give
talk
our
about.
thoughts on the season 2 trailer of Dino Fury first. Alright, so JWR, what are your thoughts on the trailer?
Well, first off, I gotta say this is the first time in a while. This is the first time that we've actually gotten like an official trailer for like a Power Ranger season, like a traditional trailer. Like usually, or I should I say, when the show would air on Nickelodeon, the most we would get was like a generic promo that said "New season, new Zords, new powers." But here we actually got like a full on trailer that yeah, showed us some of the new Zords and the new powers and the new costumes, but actually gave us some kind of idea for the plot and what we could actually expect from the show, like Void Knight outside of his armor, um what he was actually trying to do with the Sporix and resurrecting his wife, and our first glimpse of what appears to be our new villain or our new main villain, the what's it called, the Void Queen, which I believe is a reused monster. Okay, it was Madam something, the one of the main villains from Tokujur. What's her name? I'm looking out of the name. What is it? Hold on. Bear with me for 1 second here.
Alright.
Madame Noir. Madame Noir. That was it. They're basically reusing the Madame Noir costume from Tokujur. So, I guess we should start by saying R.I.P. to anybody who was hoping that Tokujur would would be the next Power Rangers season to be the next season that Power Rangers would adapt, because between this and Beast Morphers, or was it a Ninja Steel reusing a monster from Tokujur, I'm pretty sure this kills or definitely puts the nails in the coffin for any chances that Tokuchi will get a proper adaptation.
And
um, uh,
it's sad.
but jokes aside, I like what we've seen. I like it didn't blow me away. It's or make me go, oh my god, this is the coolest thing ever. This is gonna be the best. This is gonna be the best Power Ranger season yet. I mean, what I saw looked nice. The job of any trailer is to either is to take your excitement wherever whatever level it's at and increase it, and while the trailer didn't blow me away, it did get me a bit more hyped for season two than I was prior to seeing it. Mostly because of the stuff with Void Knight and Void Queen. What are your thoughts?
I mean, oh, it started off really good here. We're finally gonna get ourselves a main villain. I hope Void Knight will come back, hopefully, to help her destroy the Rangers. Because if it doesn't, then it can go in a different direction. But I do agree that they're gonna use the costume from Tokuger. Did I get it right? Yeah. No. Okay. So that'll put a damper on that plan.
Put a damper on it. Nah, that's putting it that's putting it very generously. I'm pretty sure that this seals it.
All right. All right.
Although, actually, now that you mentioned it, before we move on to the next topic, I I really hope that this really that these two are kind of our end game villains, and that we don't try to pull. Okay, so in the season one finale, Lord Zed's just kind of basically he's still around. So, and the one thing that kind of concerns me is that we're gonna either try to have him show up at the last minute and be the main bad guy, and that worries me because that's it worries me because I feel that Power Rangers is, I guess, on is is close to or has already fallen into the trap of being too reliant on nostalgia from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Although we'll get back to that later during a later topic. So that's what kind of gives me pause and what concerns me. Also, one more thing. So I really think it would be nice to have a season where the first half is solid and the second half sticks the landing, because thus far Power Rangers has not exactly been able to do that. So Super Samurai, Super Mega Force, and so on and so forth. That's what kind of concerns me, because I really enjoyed, or rather, I enjoyed Beast Morphers, and though I don't hate season two like a lot of people, it definitely was a bit dodgier than the first half. So I'm hoping that they can actually stick the landing this time.
I agree on that.
Did you have any other, I guess, any other thoughts on it?
Any other thoughts? No, I don't have any. So I don't have any thoughts on that.
All right. So are we ready to move on to our next main topic?
Yes, we are ready to move on. We have celebrated the 14th anniversary of Jungle Fury. Whew, 14 years. Wow.
Crazy.
Where has the time gone? Whew. Favorite moment from this show is where the guys get where the three main rangers get Jungle Master Mode, which that's very cool. I like that.
Hmm. Honestly, my favorite moment from the season is when, I guess, the first time RJ morphs,
Oh yeah.
because RJ, in my opinion, is probably the I guess the best Power Rangers mentor, I guess we've had for a while. Second only to arguably Tommy Oliver in Dino Thunder.
Ooh. I also like the Strike Rider though. The Strike Rider was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sad it didn't do get a battle. I'm sad that Casey didn't get a battleizer though.
Alas, yeah, can't have it all, I guess.
Yeah. Didn't get Rider Skill Strike.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. That God, are you? No, you're right. I never thought about that. Given that, given all the circumstances that if we can just talk about Jungle Fury broadly for a second, given all the circumstances surrounding it, it's a pretty good season. It's a pretty good season that's held up pretty well. I mean, considering that this was around the time that Disney was trying to kill the show, given that it was coming off it was coming off the not so great Operation Overdrive, and like you just mentioned, given how the writer strike pretty much threw everything that was on television into chaos, I'd say this season has turned out pretty good. It's a testament to I guess the writers and to everybody involved that Jungle Fury didn't turn out to be a total disaster.
Gotcha. Man, what else happened? Man, this were a time where cartoons were starting to fade away.
Yeah. After the whole what's it called the Boston bomb scare of 2007,
Yeah,
the one the event that pretty much I guess started the domino effect that led to, in my opinion, the slow kind of decline of Cartoon Network.
yeah. But for what it's worth, Jungle Fury was a good season, as you said.
A very as most of the seasons of the Disney era are. Though again, that's kind of that was when I guess jumped on board and became a fan of Power Rangers for the first time. So I might be a little bit biased.
Yeah. There was like, well, it would be cool if. Hmm, I'm sad that we never get to see the Beastmaster Megazord.
We don't.
No, because how's how it would have gone down if I were planning this. If I was playing Joker, I would, summon the Spirit Rangers, have them call out their swords, and then combine them with the Beastmaster Megazord. That's how the concept goes. Well, in my view. I know it's not a good concept, but at least I give it a shot.
It's an interesting what if for sure.
Mhm. Okay, so yeah, happy anniversary, happy 14th anniversary, Power Rangers Jungle Fury.
Since we're talking about anniversaries, I figure we might as well just talk about the Mystic Force. We celebrate Mystic Force's 60th anniversary.
16 years. Whoa.
Crazy to think about. Um, I guess we could kind of talk about the show in like I guess sort of a I guess historical retrospective context. This was I want to say it was Mystic Force was when Disney was the beginning of Disney actively trying to end Power Rangers. Like they cut it down from all right. Around I want to say it was around Lost Galaxy. Power Ranger seasons were usually around 40 plus episodes. But then starting with Ninja Storm, it was cut down to 38, and then starting with Mystic Force, that was cut down to 32. So we are now at the point where Disney is trying to, I guess, death by a thousand cuts and limiting the budget, limiting the episode count, and like I said before, pretty much trying to be rid of Power Rangers however they can because it was becoming too expensive and they just never wanted anything to do with it in the first place. And you and watching and looking back on Mystic Force and looking back on it and watching it now, over 15 years later, you can definitely tell that there were I guess cuts, omissions, and certain areas where I don't know, I guess certain patches that needed to be that could have been smoothed over. You could definitely tell that the show was starting to suffer from from Disney's interference somewhat. Now, granted, it's not a terrible season. There are still lots of things to like about Mystic Force, like the stunt choreography, like the costumes. Xander, who is Yep, Xander is great. Basically everybody other than Nick is great in the show is fantastic, but
Mm,
certain developments and twists don't you I well basically you could tell that the cracks were starting to show.
yeah, I can't blame you on that one. So what's wrong with Nick as the Red Ranger?
Um, I don't know. I think it's the I think it's the way that he's written that I just find to be so he's such an infuriating character to watch, or at least the way he is written is infuriating because he's I think Brain addressed it and summed it up better than I could, but basically he was okay, prior to Troy Burrows, he was like bottom t- a the worst in my opinion, or at least the weakest Red Ranger. He wasn't very charismatic. He was constantly being written as stubborn and an idiot. He was he was the weakest link of the show.
But don't forget he has a very cool battleizer though.
Well,
Can't lie
yeah.
on that.
I mean, well, yeah, but does that really? He does. Yes, but does that necessarily make him a good character?
Nope.
No. He has a cool battleizer going for him. He has a cool battleizer going. He has a cool battleizer, and he is no longer the worst Red Ranger. He has that going for him. You know, it's funny how so many of the worst parts of the weaker seasons from like the Saban era and the Disney era kind almost seem quaint in comparison to what we've got in the Neo Saban era.
Uh, but then their power up, their Miss Legend Warrior mode was actually kind of cool.
It was. It
And they
was.
stayed true to their elements.
They did. I will say, like there are it's a mixed bag, but when it's good, it's good. Like the I want to say it was the 3-parter or the 2-parter Dark Wish long ago. That on if I can go on a brief tangent, I like Madison, and it was such a shame that we didn't get to see more of her in the show.
Yeah. But I would actually love to see Madison or Sander as leader.
That would have been interesting. Hell, you know what? I have always argued that Xander should have been the Red Ranger.
Mm, I agree. Sander should be the Red Ranger at that point because he does deserve it. But what would Nick be in that case?
I don't know anything where he any and I don't know any color where he's not the main focus because like I said before, he is routinely the weakest link of the cast.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, yeah. So yep. Happy 16th anniversary, Mystic Force. But I actually will say I like the concept of what if Power Rangers met Harry Potter, and
Oh no, it's an interesting concept, one that Well, one that I wouldn't mind seeing explored in future seasons, if there are future seasons.
Well, yeah, that's perfect. So yeah, happy 16th anniversary, Mystic Boys. So now let's go on and say what's going on here and say why go why Go Busters took so long to get adaptation after all that.
You
So
got,
why do you think that it took so
um, to be honest, if I were to hazard a guess, I would say, hold on a minute. Was there like a recent Twitter thread or like somebody explaining why we didn't get it until 2019?
long? God.
It's fine if there isn't. I was just curious. Although, if I were you going to see something?
Yeah, because it said that huh, it said the Power Ranger team ignored Go Busters so long because they faced a huge writer's block regarding the season and what they could do with it.
That's it.
And yet the whole reason they went back to do Ghostbusters was because the script produced was too good to be ignored.
Oh, okay. Hold on a minute. I think I found a quote from Simon Bennett on White. From Bennett on the matter. Okay, so let me see here if I got it pulled up. Okay, so I got it pulled. So here it is. So Simon Bennett, current showrunner for Dino Fury, explains it here when he says that I. Hmm. Okay, of course, because all those monster costumes and props were pretty old by the time we got to bring them over from Japan. By Beast Morphers, quite a lot of the rubber had perished, and there was quite a lot of rebuilding from scratch that went on, not to mention the costumes that kind of fell apart on set.
Mm,
Well, which does make sense because they were adapting, rather, which makes sense because the season was like what at that point 7 years old at the time. By then, most of the sets and the costumes weren't in top form, which means they had to which potentially means they would have had to pour in money to rebuild it or to I guess make facsimiles of the costumes and the props. So if I were to guess, cost and given the restrictions and the limitations that Power Rangers had when Nickelodeon still had the rights, that was also part of it. So that's my answer, or I guess my guess as to why it took them so long to get to Go Busters. Did unless you had a different explanation or theory.
I think I had another theory on why they
Sure.
ignored Go Busters for so long. I think reason why, I mean, so maybe the showrunner of Beast Mode. Alright. The guy who pitched the idea, which was basically the synopsis of Beast Motors, they changed it up a bit. But it was kind of let's calm down here. The reason here, I have a different opinion about this
Sure.
because I think the real reason why Power Ranger Team and those Go Busters for so long, almost said Ghostbusters because oh my gosh, it's basically having the same.
You're
The
not
reason
the
why
only
Power Rangers
one.
ignored Go Busters, yeah, for so long, it's because well, of all the stuff that's going down back then, and there was not much room here. It's at the time we were going to streaming services because of all the because they need money. And besides, and there was like before Disney Plus, um, before Disney Plus, before HBO Max, and and other stuff. We were going through the streaming services era at that time because at that point cartoons were like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon were just weeding out shows.
Everything that was for Nickelodeon, everything that either wasn't SpongeBob or the Loud House. Like basically, if you ain't SpongeBob or the Loud House, you ain't Jack. You're they'll either like at best they will either give you a at best they either gave shows that weren't those a very unfavorable time slot like as Pony, or worse yet, if they really didn't want anything to do with your show, they would basically they would basically send it to air on Nicktoons, which was basically the equivalent of a death sentence because almost nobody has Nicktoons, and that's when basically I said if they sent your show to Nicktoons, that's where they would essentially speed run your show, burn through all the episodes, and then if you were lucky, they would renew you but still keep you on Nicktoons, or in most cases, your show would just wind up being canceled, or or I guess in some weird limbo like Welcome to the Wayne. I'm still bitter about the fact I am still bitter the about Welcome to the Wayne getting the shaft. It was interesting show. It could have been Nickelodeon's Gravity Falls, but
And I would have
instead it basically what was that?
I said I would be down with that. Mm.
Right.
But
Right.
SpongeBob, oh my god.
Or glitch text. Remember
Glitch
the
Tech,
whole
yeah.
fiasco behind glitch text? How it aired on Nickelodeon and then went to Nicktoons. Got I either I want to say got pulled off and then had to air on Netflix. It's a mess.
But Glitch Text was fun.
It
I
was.
I loved it. Too bad Nickelodeon failed to capitalize on it. But then and then Cartoon Network where they started reading out the old shows and new shows for like Teen Titans Go. I was like, why? Why read out just because Teen Titans Go is popular does not mean you can alienate other shows just to get, get that Teen Titans Go more attention. And I was like, it's just really pathetic to be honest. And yes, but Cartoon Network could have done so much better.
Oh
But
God.
this,
I think Cartoon Network might be I guess the bigger of the big might be the bigger offender because like everything that isn't okay. At least Nickelodeon has some variety with the shows they air. Not a lot, but they do have some variety. With Cartoon Network, it's like these days it's like 80% Teen Titans Go reruns, and then everything else either gets overshadowed by Teen Titans Go, gets a very unfavorable air slot, or doesn't get any kind of reruns.
I mean, for example, like in the midst of the Teen Titans Go marathon, there was a
Yeah,
new show on Cartoon Network. It was called OKKO, Let's Be Heroes. It was refreshing.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
refreshing. It was beautiful. Uh,
yeah.
But
Honestly, I could go on and on about how much Cartoon Network has changed, mostly for the worst, in my opinion. But if I do, we're gonna be here all night.
yeah, we're gonna be all night, so we gotta keep me on topic here. Gotta keep me here. But anyway, made me mad though. But it made us mad though, at the same time. Yes, we finally get it. But imagine if they could have done it at the Go Busters then instead of
Mm,
now.
Neo sub wait as it I'm
You
not
know, not as
as I am not confident it would have turned out better. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm actually pretty concerned it would have turned out worse if we're talking like if it were adapted in like 2013. Wait, as in I'm just trying to think of the timeline. As in instead of Ghost Sager being adopted into Mega Force in 2013, you're saying like, what if Go Buses were adapted in 2013 after Samurai? Oh, in that case, oh no, it would not have turned out well. I mean,
Yeah,
okay,
I would
say what
agree.
you will about the version that we got with Beast Morpher, it is still way, way better than what we would have got if this were like early Neo Saban era. If this was like an early Neo Saban era season. Good grief.
All right. Whew. Okay, now we're gonna go to our next topic here, the Simon Bennett Twitter thread.
All right. I okay, I have this pulled up. So, to coincide with the season two, with the Dino Fury season 2 trailer, Simon Bennett posted the trailer on Twitter and answered a few questions, and some of the I guess some of his answers or questions were pretty interesting. Like there was a question from I want to say our pal at the Disney Brain Digi, at the Disney Brain from the Disney Brain Discord. He asked if there was any plan to make the opening theme song for Dino Fury longer due to the switch on Netflix. To which he said no, because adding more duration to the opening titles would take more time away from the story, and 22 minutes is already tight. Answer Simon Bennett. Two, the format has to work for international sales, and 30 seconds is generally the standard duration for the opening titles in commercial half show episodes. So that was interesting. Here's the big one. So one person on Twitter asked about the tone of season two and if there was and the show got any more freedom on streaming. To which Simon Bennett answered that it was that that season two was written as the same time as season one, and there were no different requirements or expectations from point of view. From a writing and production point of view, they were one big thing. Seasons one and two. So that was interesting. Let's see here. He also said that the first half of season two will be available on March 3rd, as in like so probably the first 11 episodes. I'm trying to pull up the big one. The one about the fifth one about the one about the content of the episodes. Bear with me. Um, hmm. Okay. Here's the big one. He in that same question when in this same response to the question about the content of the tone of season two, Simon Bennett went on to say that Dino Fury was originally written as a 22 episode season, and that but it then became a 44 episode season with additional episodes that were written to plug the gaps, while the overall structure across the seasons remained the same. So that was pretty revealing. What are your thoughts on that?
I think they were right on the money with our guess that Netflix funded season two at least. It pretty much confirms that the Nick contract expired last season.
More or less, yeah. And I guess if that pans out, I personally think that's a bit reassuring because it shows that Netflix has some modicum of faith in the show since they're funneling that kind of money into it.
Great. Oh wow, just can't believe it. But Dino Fury is off to a great start.
Good start, yeah.
It's trying to push out of the Neo Salmon era, which is good. Good.
Yeah, it's still you can tell it's still kind of stuck within the confines of the Neo Saban formula, but they are making genuine attempts to break out of it. We'll see if that also includes we'll see how much different or how much similar it is to what we've seen before in the second half.
Mm, can't wait. I
Mm-hmm.
hope it sticks the landing.
Me as well. Also, I noticed that that as of now we don't know what Sentai is going to be adapted for season for the show's 30th season.
Mm,
We are now granted we already in the last episode we gave some guesses and some estimates as to what the next Sentai to be adapted could be. So we're not going to get into that again later, but as of now we have no announcement, and as far as I'm concerned, we have no idea when a we don't have any solid guesses on when a possible announcement could come. Although my guess is that at the earliest we could hear from Hasbro is next month.
mm.
I don't know. Are there any Power Rangers themed conventions scheduled for this year?
There was Alaska Comic Con with Jason Vaughn.
Some fun. Okay. So there's comma. Let's see here. I got it pulled up right now. There's Rangers. There's Ranger Stop in. Okay, let's try to. I'm trying to pull this up here.
I know that. I know.
I'm trying to see if this. Hmm, trying to trying to pull it up. Not currently not finding anything at the moment. So bear with me for 1 second. Okay, so the only one that I'm getting so far is Power Morpher Con, which is scheduled for August 26th to August 28th of this year. I don't know if we're going don't I don't know for sure if we're going to be waiting that long if we'll be waiting for that long to get something, but I would not surprise me. Okay.
Oh, and I
So,
just realized season 2 of Down Fury will be released one day before the Batman.
yeah, that should be interesting.
Hmm. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, I think this is our last topic here.
Hmm.
The 30th anniversary of Sea
Oh,
Ranger.
hmm. Yes. Also known as the season that would later become adapted into Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yes.
So I um I am not as familiar with this Sentai as I am with others. I haven't seen much of it, so I was kind of hoping you could take the lead and I guess share your thoughts on it.
All right. All right. Well, Sea Ranger. Oh, thank you, Sea Ranger, for giving us Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And if hadn't Common Rider existed, then we wouldn't have Power Rangers as a whole. Hmm. So we kind of owe that to not only Sayu Ranger and Common Rider for that, because even though we had some pretty bad seasons coming up over the years, and there's some good ones too over the years, but Mighty Morphin Power Rangers will always stand out as the season that started the Power Ranger franchise as a whole.
For better and for worse.
We all
It
can't
is, yeah,
forget them.
for better or for worse. It is for better or for worse. Now, granted, it is not my favorite season, but I can and I have taken issues with the fact that it has, I guess, overshadowed and dominated most of the I guess most of the merchandise. Excuse me, most of the merchandising and whatnot. But but it does make sense as to why it is so prevalent because it was the first seed. It is the most well known by virtue of being the first, the one that started it all. The one this weird it's this weird show, this weird American adaptation of a show that most people in America had not heard of, somehow caught on, grew an audience, and is still going to this day. that's an that's that like regardless of my thoughts on it, it is worth mention. It is, I guess, worth mentioning and I guess worth remembering for that reason alone.
So yes, happy 30th anniversary to Sire Ranger.
Now, now, should we talk about the Amy Jo Johnson thing, or should we just maybe just leave, or should we just maybe not address that?
I didn't didn't see her tweet, so I might as well just don't want to see it.
All right.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. I just wanted to make. I just wanted your input on it to see if we should go with to see if we should go with it or not.
I don't want to, because I don't want to get in trouble with some other people. In the world.
Understandable.
You gotta respect their privacy in the world. So, anyway, yeah. So I heard that Power Rangers aren't allowed to have facial hair by the Glass Emperor on the Disney Brain Discord server.
Mm.
I never knew that it was an actual rule.
I didn't know it was an actual rule either, and I'm still not sure it's an actual rule. Is it?
I don't know. I mean, Glass Emperor also said that he doubts the actual rule, but it does seem like Rangers aren't allowed in any way, shape, or form to have facial hair, except for RJ. Well, because he's RJ.
I don't know. Yeah, that see that's the thing that kind of I guess that's the thing that kind of disputes that argument because look at RJ. Dude had like a full had like a full set had a full thing of had like a full on mustache and a full beard and he was allowed to keep that. Void Knight, we've seen in the trailer has a full beard and he was nobody made him shave that off.
Yeah, right. And in the Disney, Science Sister said, in the Disney era, we also had Merrick, Tom, Jagger.
Saban. Well, no, yeah, I guess I know that counts. Merrick. Tommy had the goatee in Dino Thunder. Um, hmm. Yeah, Rangers have had beards and facial hair before. Not the first time, won't be the last.
And Science Sister says, I mean, do you think it would have been weird to see Jason with a beard and Grid Connections?
Great Connection, the comic.
Grid Connections in Beast Morphers.
Oh, right. I'm sorry, right. No, not exactly. In fact, I actually kind of think it would have been nifty to see that. Hey, it would have been nifty to see that. Hey, Jason is still doing this. Like as an adult. Well, it wouldn't have changed it. It wouldn't have changed anything either way.
Right. I mean, even the whole vibe is like that 18-year-old kid who was really scared trying to hold his own against Goldar and Green with Evil is a fully self-assured, comfortable 40-year-old man now.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. I hope.
Think about.
And Stephen Ford said, but what if he becomes a cool enough director in the next few years where he could be the guy to bring back Common Rider to the West with a new adaptation?
Stephen Ford?
Yeah.
As in, I'm sorry, I'm confused by your question. As in, what if Stephen Ford brings Kamen Rider back, or as in, or are you saying Stephen Ford is asking what if? Wait, who is he talking about? Is he talking about himself, or is he talking about somebody else? Who is he referring to?
Like, what if he can come back? What if he will be the guy to bring back Kamen Rider to the West with a new adaptation?
Who? Jason David Frank, Austin St. John? I'm kind of confused by who you're referring to.
Like Stephen Ford, Stephen Sean Or
Oh, okay, that guy is if as in is if he's the guy to bring it back.
yeah, if he's
Sure.
the
If he
yeah,
does, I mean, if he does, I wish him the best. It would be nice for Kamen Rider to have some experience of success in the West because the first time they tried it, it didn't exactly go very well, didn't catch on.
I mean, it would be cool to see, but right now, we feel like the market's dried up or totally doesn't care anymore.
Bit of both.
Is it both? Who's to say? I mean, he can have a dream. No one is allowed. No one can't say that they're not allowed to have dreams, but if he can do it, if he can pull it off, then we'll give props to him.
If he can pull it off, hey, go for it.
Yeah, it would be cool to have some sort of a web series for a Kamen Rider adaptation, like make Mask Rider Cyber Knight a real thing. That would be cool, and that would be nice to see. I mean, I already said this in episode 3, but what if Power Rangers and Kamen Rider work together, can be all be as one?
It depends. I mean, depends on the execution. If you can get them together, great. If you can make a coherent story out of it, even better. But I mean, now we're just speaking in theoreticals, and by that same logic, we might ask, what if Power Rangers crosses over with the MCU? Like it's all just kind of theoretical and nothing concrete yet. It's nice to think about and I guess speculate as to what it would be like, um, but but it's just that speculation.
Yeah, wow. Pull it up, pull it up. Well, I guess that's it here. We covered all the topics. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for this episode of the Wrestle Speak Podcast. If you like this video, please like this episode. Please give it a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the bell to get notified every time I upload a new video or where I go live. Also, go follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And thank you, JWR, once again, for being here
Always.
again. My co-host. Hmm.
Now, to anybody watching this, so starting with this episode, we're gonna try to do this a little bit more consistently. We're, I guess, the the I guess unofficial basically we're gonna try to get episodes out more consistently, and we're gonna try to aim for Mondays, but 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 we're not but I guess for on my end at least we're not I guess no hard concrete commitments on that, but we will try to have an episode of the show uploaded every um uh, at least once a week. That might not always be on every Monday, but we will definitely go out of our way to make sure that by the end of the week you'll have another episode. For those of us who can actually stand to listen to us and me trip over my words from time to time.
Alright. So, yep. And we will see you guys next time for another episode of the Power Ranger Podcast. Have a great rest of
Stay,
your day. Stay safe.
stay
Wash your
safe,
hands.
stay safe, wash your hands, and may the power protect you.